All right, we are live. Welcome everybody. Luciano Martinez here with your host Luciano Martinez here. Luciano Martinez with man, I forgot the name of the title. You see what I mean? Sometimes I get a little nervous.
Yeah.
Even though we are live, Nydia. So welcome everybody again to Straight Talk. This is the name of the episode is going to be Straight Talk in Texas real estate, a blunt conversation with Nydia Rodriguez. So this is Nydia. We have her here on our show today. Um, those of you guys that haven't already subscribed and or liked, please subscribe to my channel. That's youtube.com at Martinez RGV Homes, and go ahead, subscribe, and like. Anytime we are going to come on live, you'll get notified and notifications. Anyways, we on the show we always talk about real estate or anything that not always real estate. Sometimes we'll talk about real estate, business, mortgages, rates, finance, insurance, sports, Texas football, especially Texas football, and much, much, much more. But without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and introduce Nydia. Nydia, how you
Hi,
doing?
I'm Nydia Rodriguez. I'm a real estate agent here in Remax Platinum. Been doing real estate now for 6 years. I'm also one of board of directors for the association. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm also a mom,
Your mom.
mom of one little baby,
Cool beans, cool beans. And what's his name?
Nico.
Nico. All right. Everybody say hi to Nico.
He's not here, but
Well, I know, but maybe later he'll see the show and he'll be like, "Hey, Nico," and everybody gives a shout out and whatnot.
yeah.
Nidia, I want to thank you very much for being on the show today. We're gonna talk about, I know you told me you're a blunt real estate agent, and we're gonna talk a little bit about that here in a little bit. What does that really mean? What are the pros? What are the cons for you being a blunt real estate agent? And we're gonna want to know what that really entails. Because I'll be honest with you, I'm not very blunt. I mean, sometimes I have this hard time
Yeah.
where I'd be like, you know what, maybe we can try this or we can try that.
Mhm.
I think people call that beating around the bush. I don't know if that's the right word.
Yeah.
Dándole rodeos going to rodeos, and
Yeah.
I don't know what the right term for that is, but I think it's something like that, right?
It's
Where
beating around the bush, yeah.
beating around the bush, yeah.
You're
So,
giving an answer, but you are.
yeah, huh?
It's like you're giving an answer, but you're not.
Yeah. So I'm a very nice guy. So I sometimes I beat around the bush, if you will, because like I want to give the better of the doubt answer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that doesn't always work. So I think that you
Mm-mm.
said you're a blunt real estate agent. So I want to know a little bit more about that and how you handle that. But we'll get to that in a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Nydia, I know
Mhm.
you say you've been in the business for about 6 years, but let's talk a little bit about prior to the 6 years. What were you doing prior to real estate?
So prior to real estate, I was actually an assistant to a realtor. Her name's Vicky Chrysler. She actually does the fishing shows now. She does. I think she still does real estate part time, but she's the one that pushed me to get my license. And yeah, I did that for a year and jumped right into it. And that's why whenever people ask me like, "Hey, I'm thinking about getting my license," and stuff like that, I was like, just try being an assistant for a year, see if you like it, and then jump into it. Just because it like exposes you to like the contracts, exposes you to people, like phone calling and all that stuff.
What did you do as an assistant to be more specific?
I would deal like basically I would do her calls. I would set her appointment, basically like an assistant stuff. I would do her calls, set her appointments. I would go with her to like the showings and stuff. I would also basically, as an actual, I think I was her personal assistant too because I would do pay her bills, things like that. So it was like that's what I need right now. I need an assistant. I'm like dying, but yeah, just take care of the small stuff that we every day like kind of brush off and are like, well, I could do this later, or like it's just a small thing that needs to be done, but we don't do it.
Yeah, I have a hard time sometimes doing that because like you're going out to the show. So I've come to a realization that prospecting, there's many ways to prospect, and I like to do the whole cold calling stuff. So
Yeah.
like I don't really cold call per se. Cold call. What I do is anybody that's signed up on my website, they've already opted in, so they're either a warm lead or cold,
Yeah.
maybe a warm to a cold lead if it's been longer than 3 or 4 months. But sometimes, here's the thing: my best time that I figured out to cold call or to call people is between
Yeah.
the hours of 4 and 6. But let's
Yeah.
be honest with that. Like, the truth of the matter is, if you're going to be calling at those hours, you're not showing any homes. Because when are you
Mm,
showing homes? You're showing homes when people get out of work. When people get out of work is after 5 o'clock. So you're either going to be doing the prospecting then, or you're going to be doing the prospecting, not be doing the prospecting because you're showing homes, right? So I have a hard time. So I can see why some people might want to get that assistance. So is that what some of the stuff that you did?
yeah, that's it. Some of the stuff I did, I would phone call all the time, and then just set appointments, and all the little small stuff that we do right now, that we could like occupy ourselves with something better and bigger. It's just something that we need to. Um, well, the assistants are very good in managing.
Yeah. Would you do most of the prospecting early in the morning, or would you do it in the afternoon?
It would be early in the morning, but like now, I still cold call, and I cold call probably from 9 to 11 in the morning. But on Wednesdays, I figured out my schedule. On Wednesdays, I'll usually do it during lunchtimes or after 4. So that's usually like Wednesdays and Thursdays,
Yeah.
and those are good times. Just letting you know. I just had to get home.
No, I think the best times are to call are between 4 and 6. I really do
Yeah.
think that those are the best times to call, because people are either coming off of work or
Mhm.
they're more prone to answering. But
Yeah.
again, to me, that has been a problem when I'm showing homes, and I'm not showing
Mhm.
homes just 1 day or 2 days. It's 3 or 4 days out of the week, and now I don't get an opportunity to call.
Yeah.
So
So you
what other?
start. That's the
Huh?
thing. I was about to say that's the thing. Like you start getting busy yourself, and then you're like, oh, like I didn't do my calls, and then you notice that like in 2 3 weeks that you don't have anybody coming in because you didn't make your calls that week.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's I you hit that right. I don't know.
Yeah.
You get that expression correct where you hit something, you hit the nail on the head or something like that. Is that the right expression?
Yeah, I think
Just
so.
another one of those, beat around the bush, hit the nail on the head. I'm not too sure what those
No,
expressions.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Um.
Let me
So
grab
you
my headphones really
so what?
quick. Sorry, I'm gonna grab my headphones really quick.
You got it. You got it. Yeah. No. For anybody else that's interested, guys, now you say this out loud real quickly. For anybody that is interested in while we're having a conversation here, if you have any questions regarding real estate, you feel free to come in. We do have an open Q&A. Nydia and I are just kind of like talking. We're gonna talk a little bit about her journey, my
Good
journey,
conversation.
her way of prospecting, some
Hmm.
stories you might want to share and whatnot. But at the same time, if you're open to, if you have questions, if you want to ask anything, feel free to ask.
Yeah.
uh talking about the market, where the interest rates are going to go, where they're going to be headed. Is it a good time to buy? All of these questions, ask them now. As we go through our podcast show, we'll try our best to answer them. So don't be afraid to
Hmm.
ask me questions at any given time. All right. And so, Nydia, what's another task you might have
Hmm.
done during those as an assistant? Another task that you thought, you know.
I was gonna say, dude, it's been so long, I can't even tell you.
No, 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 that's fine.
Oh,
I,
I was also doing
I
her
think I think
photography.
calling I think calling is probably the biggest one. Like,
Yeah,
I think calling people for us,
that's
because that takes a lot of time. So yeah,
that's the one that like a lot of people kind of fall back on.
yeah.
But I would also do her photography because you already know that I'm like a hobbyist photographer. So I
Hmm.
would do her photography as well.
Got it. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
do you do your own photography too?
Mm-mm.
No. You
No.
have somebody hire you hire somebody out. Who do you usually
Yeah. Photograph RGV.
photograph art? Do
Shout
that?
out to shout out to Chris. If you're
I've worked
watching.
with him once or twice. Yeah, when I first started,
Yeah.
I did that once or twice. I hired them on, and now I use my wife. She's a
Oh
photographer as well,
yes.
so she's
Yeah.
been helping me out with that. So shout out to her.
Yeah.
Shout out to my wife. And
Yeah.
maybe she'll comment on here. I don't know if she's gonna comment on that. I don't know if she's watching, but I hope she is.
Yeah.
No, está bien, está bien. So Nydia,
Yes.
I don't know. I have a note here. It says bring in a touch. All right, here we go. Tell me a little
in
bit about
touch.
your deals. Like what can
Oh,
you tell me about your deals? Like,
they're
what, what,
horrible. I'm just kidding.
well, I guess I know you told me, hey, I'm a very blunt agent. Let's talk a little bit about that. Why are you a blunt person?
I wouldn't say I mean, I wouldn't say blunt. I'd say honest more than anything. I don't beat around the bush. I'm going to tell you how it is. And obviously, like to my buyers, that subject is a lot more sensitive to them because buyers are a lot more emotionally driven. I feel like so I'm a little bit more sensitive with my buyers, and I tell them how it is, but I have to kind of beat around the bush, like you said. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like I've always had a really good rep with my clients, just being completely honest and then like letting them know like I can't answer you right now. I'm sorry. Like I'll get back to you tomorrow or things like that. Or like whenever like the buyer's lending doesn't come through for my seller, or for my listing, I'm like I have to tell my seller like, hey, this and this happened. Like bad news to me, I feel like I'm already just desensitized to bad news.
Mm-hmm.
Like I already know how to deliver the bad news.
And that's good, and that takes practice. So, as a
Yeah.
realtor, one of
Mhm.
our fiduciary responsibilities is to be honest, isn't it?
Yes.
So I think we are honest people. But what
Mhm.
I said earlier about beating around the bush is just like it's more like being sensitive, not so much beating around the bush.
Okay.
But you hit it again,
Yeah.
the nail on the head. It's more about being sensitive because
Mhm.
it,
'Cause it is emotional.
yeah, it is. And so residential is very emotional compared
Mhm.
to commercial. I don't know, have you done any commercial deals?
Not lately. I have a commercial land listed, but I haven't had any commercial lately.
Yeah. So one of my experiences has been that residential is very emotional. Everybody
Mhm.
is like, are we going to close? Are we not going to close? Is
Yeah.
is the financing going to come through? Is it not going to come through? And
Mhm.
the thing is that I'm a very emotional person myself.
Yeah.
Like I am. I see a person cry and I'm crying right there with them.
No, you're
So
not.
no, I am. I am. This is a true story.
I'm gonna
Um,
ask your wife. First
yeah,
to
you
finish.
can. So you don't have to ask her because you can
Uh-huh.
ask her. But this is
Yeah.
a true story. We were at a I guess like a teacher retreat at one point. Well, I wouldn't. It's a
Uh-huh.
training. It was a training,
Yeah.
and we were in a circle. And the idea of it was, and I tell you this story because I'm pretty sure people are going to hear this story, and I think it's a good story to tell because it actually attests
Mhm.
to my gift of empathy. Check this out. I see a person crying, I'm gonna start crying. And so
Yeah.
we were at a teacher training, and we were in a circle and we were sharing particular stories. It was about connecting with students. And
Mhm.
this lady right across from me, she started to talk about her story, her situation, and
Yeah.
she started to tear up. And I was like, "Oh man, you know." Okay. So everybody goes
That's
down
so
and talks
good.
about their stories, and some of these stories that they were sharing were very
Uh-huh.
very heart feeling stories and very emotional stories. And as they were getting closer to me, and I'll share what I was, because they were talking about like what is one possession that you guys have that means a lot to you. And people were sharing like, oh, I have this picture of my daughter because she survived this or survived that. One of them
Mhm.
survived cancer and whatnot. And they were talking about their most prized possessions, and they had really good stories behind it, right? And again,
Yeah.
they're going one by one, and they're talking about, man, everybody's crying, and I'm over here choking up. So
Yeah.
by the time they get to me, I go, look, I am not gonna be able to talk. I'm crying already. I kid you not, I'm crying, and I was like, I have nothing compared to what any of you guys
Yeah.
have gone through, have been feeling.
Mhm.
I was gonna talk about, and I kid you not, I'm always gonna talk about this right here, and I was talking about my ring. Like, this is my
Yeah.
most prized possession that I have, like as far as material things go, because this is my
Yeah.
story. But
Yeah.
I'm over here bawling, crying because, like I said, I have this gift of empathy where
Yeah.
a person is hurting or is even happy. It doesn't have to be hurting, but I do
Mhm.
know that when a person is emotional, I get very emotional as
Mhm.
well. And so we're over here now. But y'all gonna have to skip me. Come back to me later. Sure enough, I was able to talk about my ring and my prized possession at a later time during that circle. And they were like, so man, I could tell you, this is a good story because you know I'm a big guy, but you don't expect it to cry. But everybody in that circle, in fact, everybody in that training, because I wasn't able to come back the next day, everybody in this training left notes of affirmation for me. I had about 20, 25 notes of affirmation notes on in a little baggie. So I'm like, one thing that I did not realize about Luciano was that he was a very emotional person, and that's good. Keep that up because that makes you a very quote unquote genuine person. And so
I was about to say it makes you more personable.
So I'm very emotional as well with my clients, especially my buyers, because I know that it's not always an easy task to buy a house. And so
no, it's not.
I can't be super blunt, but I will tell you what. One time I had, and this is gonna get into our our next part of the session here, our next segment. Do you have any crazy stories?
Me?
Yeah, you. I have a crazy story. Do you have any crazy stories?
You go first because I.
And I was preparing myself for this question.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you anyways. So I have a crazy story.
Yeah.
And I won't mention any names, obviously, to protect the privacy of people, right?
Yeah.
But at one point, I was selling this one house, and we sold it. We sold the house, right? It's an elderly couple, right? And again, I don't have any. We service people. We service people as they come in, right? Obviously, we take care of them. But in the taking care of them, some people are set in their ways. And I had this one particular couple who I sold their home and they closed, they signed, but the man wanted a wire, right? So he goes, and that's not hard, he wanted the wire. And we explained to him that the wire was going to be the easiest, but the money wasn't in his bank account for like 48 hours. But he was not releasing the keys to the buyer until he saw the money in his bank account. And I was like, sir, but it's because they already released the money. Like the money's yours. It's for whatever reason it's 24 to 48 hours to hit your account. Like that's normal. You're gonna get the money. So he didn't want to release the keys. And the buyers were starting to get a little bit upset, because at this point the seller was like, I guess, I don't know if it's the right word, but I guess it was trespassing. So, so that was my story, and I didn't know how to handle it. I called John right away. Hey, John, I have this situation. So we figured it out. We we eventually got the keys, but I was there too late.
Yeah.
About 8:30 or 9 o'clock. That I was trying to collect the keys, and so that's my crazy story. Do I have other crazy stories? Probably, but maybe not as crazy as that one. But I know that the buyer's agent was talking about, we're gonna call the cops, and I was like, I really don't want the cops to be called. I want to get this done and get the keys to the buyer.
I want it done the right way.
You're gonna get your money, guys.
Huh? I've actually been really. I feel like I've been really blessed with having like I'm gonna knock on wood, but with having smooth files. I could tell you about one crazy thing that happened to me at a showing. I got bit by a chihuahua.
By a chihuahua?
Yeah, I got bit in my ankles.
Is that like a normal cause? Like, do you have something against chihuahuas? Like chihuahuas are against you?
I don't know. I think chihuahuas are just little demons. But
they are, but they're very loyal. They're very loyal.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now because we have a chihuahua here that's super loyal.
Has he bit anybody?
No, not yet.
Probably. She. I was gonna say probably. Oh, she. Has she been?
No, her name is Penny. She was only a year old, but she's cute. She won't. Little. Yeah, she's. I think she heard me.
She's like, hey. Let me think about it. I'm thinking about her. There was this number, dude. I can't even think. Have you ever had a client back out of the deal right at the closing table? That's
That
happened
I
to me
can
once
that I can
before.
think of off the top of my head, no.
Yeah, that's happened to me once.
At the closing table, no, I haven't had
Yeah,
that.
at the closing table. So that happened to me once. I can't think of a specific time where it was kind of like a weird situation. I think I've always, what was that?
There's a fly bothering me.
I
I don't
feel
know
like,
why there's a fly here, but there's a fly bothering me. I must have opened the door or something
mm,
like that. She's bothering me. I'm gonna have to be like,
I
shoot,
feel like,
bothering me.
I feel like I've always managed them pretty well. There's some that didn't close at the end of the day, but it was like title issues. Oh, you know what? Now that we're talking about this one, I'm not going to mention any names or whatever. But this is what had happened. There was a break in chain of title. So when that happens, that basically means that along the line, somebody did a for sale by owner, not the right way, and the property was gifted to a daughter, but the daughter didn't sign on the warranty deed when it got for like sold by owner to my client. So now we were trying to sell for the like we were already like yeah at the end and like trying to find this daughter and we found her, but she didn't want to sign. She didn't want to sign at
Mhm.
all. And then we were like, well, what are we gonna do? So we ended up leasing that property, but I ended up telling my client, like, look, it's out of the title company's hands and it's out of my hands. I'm gonna have to tell you to seek like a real estate attorney to have to, deal with it. And so recently, after after a year that he's leased the house, apparently his tenant stole his appliances.
What?
Jesus Christ. Yeah, the tenant stole his appliances. And then he was like, hey, this and this happened. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And then he was like, what was the real estate attorney's name? And I was like, I'll just give you another one because the other one didn't reach out. So I was like, I'll just give you another one. Here you go. So hopefully we'll deal with that break and chain of title, but that happens a lot when you do for sale by owners.
I was about to ask
It
you that.
Yeah, for sale by owners are really really tricky, and you have to like make sure they're like go to a real estate attorney, go to the title company to make sure that purchase is legit and
Yeah.
not
Eh, eh,
back burner type stuff like that.
Yeah, but with that said, this is a great time to like, what's that word again? One of those.
Hmm.
I want to plug in the fact that list with a real estate agent, list with me, list with Nydia, list with a real estate agent because
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
you're you are
Protected.
you are protected. Yeah, you are protected
Yeah.
one way or another. Uh, Going about it the right way. I know people don't want to dish out that money, but at the same time, hey, we're worth the money, right? We're worth the money because
Exactly, dude. We're dealing with negotiations. We're dealing with marketing. We're dealing with paperwork. We're doing everything
we're doing
for you.
everything and making
Yeah.
sure that there is no breaking command,
Mhm.
no, breaking title, right? Breaking title because that's important.
We're in the
We want to
military
make
right
sure that,
now.
you as a seller, you're able to sell your house, and
Uh-huh.
I've actually, and I hadn't done this in a long time, and
Mhm.
I don't like dealing with for sale by owners, for whatever reason, but in the last couple of weeks,
Because
I've been.
they're hard-headed.
Yeah, so I actually reached out
Yeah.
to this lady. She's had her
Mhm.
home listed as a for sale by owner for about 6 months now, and
Yeah.
I reached out to her and I go, hey, so tell me a little bit about your house. Just trying
Yeah.
to entice her. Hey, tell me a little bit about your house. She
Yeah.
tells me 3 bedroom, 2 bath, just basic information. And at the end of the conversation, I go, look, I'm very curious as to why you haven't listed. Well, I'm not in a rush. I go, but I mean, you have your house for sale, but why not list it with a real estate agent? And she goes, well, just right now, I don't need you. I go, you know what? At the end of the day, it's really what you want to do, but if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out.
Yeah.
And I explained to her too, Texas property code, I think, if I'm not mistaken, you have to disclose. Yeah, even if it's for sale by owner, you have to have a seller's
Mhm.
disclosure. So I explained that to
Yeah.
her. She says, "Oh, okay, thanks for the information," and that was it. That's
And
she.
and so not only that, like, have you noticed our Trek forms and our all of our forms basically, like I've had ex-clients tell me like, hey, can I just draft this form like off the internet? And I was like, if you look at the top, it just really says like this form can only be used by Texas realtors. Like you can't just do it being like a normal person. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, no, I
somebody
definitely.
that's not a realtor. Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah. So
Mm.
yeah, I plug. Let's just say we're plugging it in. If you're a for sale by owner, if you've ever thought about selling, give us a call. We do have Nydia's number running around here in the what's it called, scrolling in the bottom of the bar. I'm also gonna plug in real quickly. If anybody has any questions right now, is a good time to ask. As we're going through our conversation, we're talking about some of our stories, any particular pros and cons that we've come up against or up through. Feel free to ask your questions now, and we can see if we can answer any of your questions. We got a couple of people watching. um yeah, so moving forward,
Mhm.
so how
What's
about
next?
demanding clients? Do you have any demanding clients?
What?
How do you deal with demanding clients?
Yes, I do, dude. How do I deal with them? I just deal with them. I think my time now has opened up a lot, but I um I just deal with it as it comes. And like I do not deal with it when it's in the middle of the night. Do not call me in the middle of the night or text me in the
Yeah.
middle of the night. But if you notice, I come into the office. I'm here at the office probably from like 8 to 2, 8 to 2 or 8 to 1 p.m. Monday to Friday, because that's my time to do my calls. That's my time to do my paperwork. That's my time to set schedules for the week.
Yeah.
So I do 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. And I lost my train of thought. What was I talking about?
Demanding clients. Demanding
Oh
clients.
yeah. So demanding clients. So I respond during that time, that 8 to 1 p.m. If it's after the 1 p.m., I still respond if I have appointments or something like that. But I create my boundaries now. I'll think my latest will be like by 7 p.m. unless it's urgent, you know,
Yeah.
or something like that. But I mean, demanding clients to me, I think now I know how to deal with them. And it's good because it's like at first, when I first started real estate, dude, I was a mess. Like I wouldn't be able to sleep at night.
Yeah.
Like that's how bad it was. And now I'm like, bye. I go to sleep at 9 p.m. I'm up by 5. Yeah.
I'm with that schedule. Go to sleep by 9 o'clock. Try to wake up
Yeah.
now. So when I was teaching, I was up by about 4:30 and trying to get to the gym at 5 o'clock. But I was trying to
Hmm.
go to sleep by 9 o'clock. Um, Now that I'm not teaching, I allow myself an extra hour. I get up at 6 o'clock, 6:30. I try
Yeah.
to get up with my wife. And I still maybe sleep in an extra 15, 20 minutes. She probably gets up at 5, but I'm more or less about 6:30 is when I'm waking up, and I get out at 7 o'clock. But I don't have to worry about going to work or going to school anymore, at least for now, right?
Yeah.
So we're not worried about going to an 8:30 job. So I get to go to the gym at 7:30, 8 o'clock, 2 hour
Yeah.
workout, and then I come home
And
and
that's usually like when it's empty.
yes, I don't like packed
Hmm.
gyms. So when I was teaching and coaching a long time ago, before we had our home
Hmm.
gym, we do have a home gym. We have a garage gym. I have like
Hmm.
we have a power rack. We have a treadmill. We have a dedicated bench, and we have some cables as well.
Yeah.
Uh, so we have a pretty good garage gym setup, but there's
Hmm.
still more at the actual gym. So I like to go to the gym because there's more equipment.
Yeah.
Um, at the same time, I do not like a packed gym. When I was teaching
No.
coaching, I was going out about 5:30. When I was done
Yeah.
coaching,
There's.
coaching season was done at 5:30, right after school.
Hmm.
Worst thing ever. So I would be in the gym 2 to 3 hours,
Yeah.
and you're waiting a long time for machines to open up. So I like to go now early
Yeah.
in the morning
That's.
and call it a day. So then my schedule opens up at around. So now I'll go by 8:30. I like to be home and start working on my files.
Mhm.
Any files that I need to start working on, because
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out how to work with demanding clients. There are some clients out there that are demanding, but
Yeah.
I do cut them off at 9 o'clock. I learned that
Yeah.
real quickly because um there was times, and John can tell you, there was times where I called John at 10:30, 11 o'clock. It's like, hey John, I have this situation. Probably should have told him, hey,
That's like, shut up.
he did. I'm sure he did. But I probably should have told my clients, I'll call you in the morning or I'll text.
Yeah.
But the thing too is that you have to understand at the time when I was first starting off is that I was still teaching, and so I wasn't gonna have an opportunity to call them back from 8 to 4. You know, it would have to be at 5 o'clock or before going into work. So I juggled that around. Now it's not the case. Now I shut everybody off by 9 o'clock. So my phone is on do not disturb by 9 o'clock.
By 9 o'clock, dude, mine too.
Yeah, so by 9 o'clock it's gone.
And it doesn't come off until 9 a.m. Until I'm like actually leaving.
Mine comes on at 10:30 is when mine comes back. Yeah. Like I mean, I'll still answer a text or a call if it's like it's urgent.
But because we're already like at the office, like dealing with people and stuff.
Yeah. So like I will answer a call or I will answer a text if I'm not too busy or if my gym session is not too important at the time. I will answer because I'm at the gym between 7:30 and almost 8. You know, between 6:30 and 8:30 or 7:30 and 9:30. I'm at the gym, kind of like where I like to go to know people. And so then I'll come home and I'll start working on people. But those demanding clients, at 9 o'clock, they're done. I cut them off, and it is what it is, and I'll answer them back in the morning. Unless, like you said, it's super urgent and, you know, you're in the middle of a negotiation and everybody's awake, I guess, at that time. But what are the times? And so.
Yeah. And it was kind of like this weekend. I went to San Antonio and I just told everybody, like, hey, you know, it's out of my hands right now. I'll call you or text you by Monday. And sure enough, like, I was literally, before I checked out, I was on my laptop, like answering all my emails, calling people, like basically just doing everything.
Yeah.
That, you know, it's a lot of people. I feel like demanding clients, it's like you don't need the answer right away, especially if it's like a title issue. You know, title is like 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then lenders sometimes do the same schedule. So it's like, I don't have that information for you, but I'll get back to you, and that's okay. It's, you know, it's not something that's like somebody broke into my listing or something, you know. And if that happened, hopefully it didn't. Jesus, no,
that hasn't happened.
No,
I know an agent that similarly happened to. I won't mention any names, but I'm sure that she's watching. She knows who I'm talking about. I was on phone duty. I was on phone duty. And I get a call at 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock. And they keep calling. And I was like, this is going to be a joke, right? So finally I answer and they go, hey, so-and-so, there's been a break-in. They're having a party at the listing. And I'm like, stop. So then I reach out to the agent real quickly. And the agent's like, doesn't answer. It gets into the morning. But they finally, like, I don't remember what happened afterwards. But I was like, stop. So they broke into the agent's listing to have a party. I guess it must have a good party. Why lie?
What?
Yeah,
it was a good party.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
You know, and speaking of break-ins, so I recently took on a listing that is no longer on the market, and it must be different for female agents too, because I told John, I was like, hey dude, I'm not gonna walk.
I got a taser. I was like, I got a taser. Don't mess with me.
So I took a listing. It's off of Canton, and I don't have it on market anymore. So actually off market. I don't know what happened to the listing, but it was a 2-story old home. And the lady calls me. She goes, "Hey, I want to list this property." And I go, "Okay, cool beans, right?" So she wanted to list it at a certain amount, and I was like, "Okay," and we'll do it. You know, at the time I was like, you know what, we'll do it. It's a good property, but it's gonna have to be taken down. It's in front of Robert Mella High School, right? It's great prime real estate, right?
Yeah.
And so I go and check it out, and she had told me it had been broken into a couple of times, that there is no utilities, and that they have left a mess. And the last thing I need, you know, obviously I'm a big guy, but I don't want to get jumped. I'm not gonna lie, I don't want to get jumped. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I had told John, I go, "Hey John, I think that I would feel comfortable if somebody else just went with me just to know what's up, you know, just in case I don't come out of that house, at least somebody's waiting for me outside because I got jumped, you know, call the cops real quickly." So sure enough, Victoria has a client that has an agent. I mean, that wants to buy the house, right, or the property.
Yeah.
And I was like, look, Victoria,
How are you, dude?
uh,
How are you scared of being jumped?
believe it or not, I am scared of being Trump. I'll tell you another story here in a little bit. Media, come on. I look, if there's a gun in front of me, why not? Right?
That's
So
true. That's true. Where
yeah,
was this? Where was it at? Oh, dude, Robert. It was in front of Robert Bedlam.
right in front. Yeah.
Why would, dude?
Huh?
That's not even a place where you get jumped.
But you never know if there's any squatters.
Uh,
The house had been broken into
that's
multiple
still.
times, and the lady had told me, "Hey, the house has been broken into multiple times."
Were
There
you
are
going in at night?
not at the time, no. But still, you never know who's gonna jump out of behind a door. So, so I told John, but you know what? John was gonna go with me, but Victoria beat him. Victoria beat him. She goes, "Hey, I have a client for
Yeah.
the property," and so we go and check it out. And Victoria's with her client. I go, "Look, ladies,
Yeah.
I don't. If it happens that me be the guy that happens, y'all can stay outside. If I don't come out in like the next 15 minutes or something like that, call the cops." They went inside with me. So yeah,
They didn't care exactly.
they didn't care. Victoria did awesome. You know, she was like, I'll
I
protect
love Victoria.
you.
I
Victoria's
got you.
she's I'll protect you, she said. And I was like, okay. So yeah, sure enough, I picked up a stick and we were coming into every room. I was like, hello, 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 because you never know. You know,
Yeah.
so I can only imagine, you know, and this is me being a male big guy, right? That with females is a different story. Now, so you do have a taser.
Yeah. I have a taser and a knife, and I'm always wearing my boots. Yeah, so I stuff it in my boots.
I carry a gun with me. Texas, you can carry a gun.
Yeah, I haven't gotten my license yet, though.
Have you been in a situation similar to that, or worse, or you know, do you want to go into the house? Do you go into the house? Do you not go into the house?
I do, but that's just me being stupid, I guess. No, there's times. Okay, so this is what happens with me. It's not with squatters or so much like older homes. Is that I like if I'm having like a listing appointment with a male, and I've never met him before in my life, and I'm like I call him and whatnot, and I just don't know him. I've never seen him in person. I ask either Jonathan or Anita to come with me, or I give them my location. I've actually had David Gassad is the CEO, like back in the day, like when we were working with Jeans. So I've had him actually like be close by whenever I had like listing appointment or buyer's appointment, or anything like that with the mail that I didn't, I never had an interaction with before that. So yeah, it honestly it's scary. Okay, I'm gonna tell you this one. This one's like I'm gonna tell you this one too.
Go for it.
There's a lot of creepy men out there. There was this one incident recently that happened to me, and I didn't. I don't know who to report it to because it was. But anyways, so because I don't have proof, first of all, because with Trek you have to have proof. But anyways, so he was recording the homes because he was coming from out of state. He was recording the homes for his wife, but as he was recording me, and I noticed that he was recording. Like I was like, dude, like get me out. Like it was just weird. And I've had that happen already like twice. I remember when I first started as well. Like I had this dude, like no shame, freaking recording me, and I was like, dude, like. It's so creepy. I've dealt with my fair share of creepers, and then also like being a female in the industry, it is hard because you don't know who's who. And that shout out to Forewarned, by the way, that we have now. That basically you get to look up all the people that you deal with beforehand.
Yeah.
That way you don't walk into a dangerous situation.
That's also a great prospect tool. I don't know if you've thought about that too.
Really?
Yeah, I've only played around with it very, very briefly, but it could be, in my opinion, I think it might be a good prospect tool. At least I would think though, because it's got pretty good information on there. But I mean, I don't know. I was just thinking out loud. So I know we kind of geared off a little bit into some of the stories that we've been through. But shout out to Victoria, shout out to John as well, and shout out to Victoria's client there, because I know she, they were tough about that, right? And
you were the one being protected in the back.
For sure. So real quickly, I want to make sure that I do acknowledge Skylar's comment here. He said we don't need a license anymore. It's open carry if you're 21 and older. So thank you for that, Skylar. Huh?
You don't?
No, I had already heard something about that too, but I just I mean I have a gun, but it is what it is.
Honestly, I would probably have to practice because I don't even know. I don't even know how to use a gun. So first of all, practice and then maybe buy a gun.
Yeah. So excuse me. So and that was a great little segment that we had there, because that was the actual we got a comment real quickly from Mr. Omar Gobea. What's up, Luciano and Nydia? Have you worked with Omar?
No, but so I recently met him when he was running for the board, and apparently he knows my sister and my family, and I was like, oh, hey. I just
Omar's a cool cat. I'm gonna give him a shout out. You're a cool cat, Omar. Thanks for being Omar Gobea.
Omar Gobea.
Cool. So he's a cool cat. I like Omar.
I haven't had a deal with him yet.
I haven't either. We almost had a deal together, but circumstances. Circumstances.
Oh wait. Let me ask you this: have you had to deal with any crappy agents yet?
Oh, I'm not gonna say anything about that. No.
I think that's a conversation for next time.
Pros and cons about crappy agents. I think the only thing I don't like about people is when we call them and they don't answer. I'm trying to get some clients into a house. So this is another one of those stories. I know we're gonna veer back to those stories. So recently, 2-3 days ago, I was showing some homes for some clients who just got pre-approved, and one of the houses that we went to go see, it was already getting dark. It was like 5:45. It's a couple as well. And we get there, and I notice the lockbox is unlocked, and then I see that the lockbox is unlocked, and me being the skeptic of everything and everyone, I look at the door. Has it been broken into? And I'm looking at it. It's dark, and so I get hello again as well. And I tell my clients, look, there's no power. It's 5:45. It's getting dark already. Do you guys want to come in? I have a flashlight. But at the same time, okay, there's no key in the lockbox. The door was unlocked, and it had those little marks like it had been broken. So I was like, do I really want to risk me and the clients at this point? So I called the agent, but the agent wasn't answering at the time. Hey, bro, or hey, sister, I'm trying to give you some information that you have on your particular listing, and that's just one particular situation. But I think that's my biggest pet peeve, because for me, and my wife will tell you,
don't answer.
Yeah, if people call me and I don't answer, I have this in the back of my mind. Like, if I wasn't able to answer, it's for a good reason, but I have it in the back of my mind where, like, oh man, I forgot. I gotta give him a call. I'll tell you another story. When I was coaching, I was thinking about leaving my high school at the time to go to a different high school. And I called coaches, or one of my coaches. I had told one of my coaches that right after the game, I go, hey, if you have an opening right away, let me know. I'll go and coach all the way over there to Rio Grande. Fuck it, let's go. But at the time, he hadn't returned my. We talked briefly, and then maybe about a week later or 2 weeks later, he had called me to me, and I was like in the back, but I was busy, and I was like, I gotta call him. And so I just can't deal with that. So yeah, for me, that's my pet peeve. I don't really.
That's only pet peeve.
Yeah, I don't really have like one of those agents are crappy. I don't think anybody's crappy.
No,
think people are busy.
I think, well, that's a thing. No, I think the thing is that the communication. That's my biggest part. Like, again, it goes back to answering your phone. Like, when you answer your phone, that's where you're getting your business from, honestly. Like, if I miss a phone call, like, I'm like, "Fudge." Like, what if it was like in the singer, like a buyer calling, And
Yeah.
that's usually it. I feel like that's usually it. But yes, there's the
And
communication part with the agents is the one that does suck.
but
But when
then
I say crappy agents, I mean communication.
I'll tell you this, because I was an agent that was working as a teacher, so I was a part-time agent, and I couldn't answer the phone call while I
You
was.
were the crappy agent. I'm
Ah,
kidding.
dang!
I'm just kidding.
I would
I'm
text
kidding.
meetings. No, no, no,
Just
no. I
text
would
them
text
or
immediately.
like
Yeah, but even then, I was inside my classroom. Inside my classroom, I get zero
mhm.
signal. So that
Yeah.
was another thing. So I can't say that's for me. Like, yes, please answer your phone, because I do my very best to answer your phone. And I think that
Mhm.
if you miss the one call, you miss the two calls, it's okay. But if you miss 4 or 5, 6 consecutive calls, then I think there's a communication issue there. You know,
Yeah,
and
for
and
sure.
I'm very upfront with agents. I I actually was dealing with a guy, great guy. I won't mention names. One of my
Mhm.
recent things, um, he was like, "Bro, you are excellent at communicating." He told me, and I was like, "Well, thank you so much, man. I mean, I'm just doing my job." But I would
Yeah.
communicate with him about everything and everything my buyer was going through,
Yeah.
because and check this out too. And my lender, the lender that I had, was an out of town lender. Great
Mhm.
guy. If you ever need a lender también outside of town, great guy. And I got a story
Where's
about him.
that from?
He's from Dallas, Fort Worth. So he
Oh shit.
actually referred me a client that wanted to buy here
Mhm.
locally. And let me tell you a story about him. So with this guy, he calls me. And I'm like, dude, this sounds like a sketch fish scam. And
Scam.
yeah, so I ignored the call. I probably ignored the call 2 or 3 times. On the fourth time, fifth time, he finally leaves a voicemail and texts me. He goes, "I
Uh-huh.
guess you don't have any business." And I was like, "Stop." So I finally decided to talk to him or call him or text him
Yeah.
back. And his name is Russell.
Mhm.
From what's it called? The Dallas Fort Worth area. He's with, and I can't remember the name of the mortgage company, but
Mhm.
his assistant handled the deal very, very smoothly. They
Mhm.
closed in 23 days or 24 days,
Yeah.
and it was. But to that effect, what I have to say about that is the buyer's file was immaculate. Like the lady makes like $6,000 a day, so
Yeah.
it was an immaculate file. So there was no issues there. But the great guy. Uh,
Mhm.
he was very ADHD as well. Great guy. I love working with him, and he had to
Yeah.
be very meticulous about his files, and he
Uh-huh.
wanted communication. And what I guess the story, the moral of the story was that
Uh-huh.
he actually called the listing agent and he said, "Hey, my buyer, immaculate." So I think that helped me win the offer, because they had a couple of other offers as well. So I thought that
Yeah.
shout out to him, shout out to Russell, great guy, great great personality as well. So good job. So and if we have time, we'll come back to Omar. Omar wanted me to share a story, but we'll see if we get back to that. Another shout out here from one of my buddies. By the way,
Saludos.
guys, if you guys need an AC tech, Isaac Hernandez is an AC tech. Shout out to him. He's a great guy. He is with Precision AC Tech or Precision AC. So shout out to him. He helps me out with the AC stuff from time to time. So you guys ever need an AC guy, he's out there for you guys. Nydia, any other challenging stories or anecdotes or victories in the world of real estate?
Dude, lately I've been, no,
No.
not really. I keep I'm so boring, dude. My life
Huh?
is so boring lately. I said my life is so boring lately.
I think it's just the times right now. So
The
I do
market.
want to talk about a real estate trend that, and chime in
Mhm.
here at any given time. So I'm gonna try something. Here we go. We're gonna share the screen. Let's try
Mhm.
that right there. Boom. So we recently got some. Have you messed with this particular software?
No.
You
What's
haven't messed with InfoSparks?
no?
No. All right.
What
Well,
is it?
So InfoSparks is
That's so bright.
it's some pretty good data. So basically, um, it's market trends in the area, and right now I think it's um filtered down to a certain thing, certain particular filters. But what I like about it is, like, for example, we're looking at all price range. Let's just look at I think the hot market right now is between is 250 down, right? So like what I want, I'll share these two right here, 149, and we'll go up to 288. So we'll share that. But one of the things that I wanted to share, and maybe you can put chime in here, last 3 years, you can see the we'll go to single family, we'll go to previously owned and new construction, and then we're gonna go to an average single family home, which is the normal size, which is I don't know. Would you agree that it's 1,500 square feet, 2,000 square feet?
Yeah.
And then 3 bedrooms and then 2 bathrooms. So that's the average, in my opinion, the average home, single family. And so what I like about this is what I do time is I do a lot of email marketing, and I like to do screenshots with this, and I like to share information with my sellers or my buyers. One of the things that I really like is to show them this right here. Showings per listing, like the average showings per listing, because if we're looking at 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom homes that are $288,000 less, that are averaging 1,500 square feet, 2,000 square feet. If we look at the last, we're looking at the last 3 years, we can see the average, like, average showings per listing.
And this is this in our area?
This is in our area. This is the entire MLS. So yeah. So if you haven't played with this, I definitely recommend it.
I haven't.
So I'll show you some more cool little features about this. You know that I love technology, and I'm a big tech guy. And when this came out, and I reached out to Humberto there at the GMAR. Humberto, by the way. I asked him. There's a feature that they haven't released just yet, but it's gonna be really good. Hopefully, here in the future they'll release it. I know he said that it was going to be released soon, that they were just working out some final things. But if we look at the last year, like this is January right here of 2023, the average showings per listings were like at 3.8, and then in February 3.7, and then in March it kind of kicked up a little bit to 4.7. And of course, this all is synced in with like your showing time. So like if you have listings and you're trying to, your seller is telling you, hey, how come my house isn't showing? It's not just his house or her house. It's the entire MLS. If you look at the entire MLS, you look over here, the average showing right now in the last month of November was 2.2 per home. So that's why I like to do this when we have those demanding clients. I like to share some of this information. I like to let them know, hey, I need you to be peaceful in your mind, be patient with it. We're working things out. The market is a certain way. Doesn't mean your home is not gonna sell. Just give it some time. Be patient. I know we have those demanding clients that say, hey, I want to sell my house yesterday, but hey, look right here. The average showing is 2.2 in the month of November, and it's gone significantly down. Now, is this maybe one of those things that you say, hey, it's the holidays kick in and whatnot? So this is something that I like to share with my clients, and I want to see. I don't know what your input is here in regards.
I think it's kind of like, so like I'm going to show you something, like I don't know if you can see it or not.
Let me
like on our showing time, we have this, and then it has like, by the way, this one's going under contract already, and it had 3 showings in the last 30 days, and it has 3 total showings, and it will like give me a little, I don't know, like a little chart, which is pretty cool. But I feel it's kind of like that, right?
It is. And so what this does is it grabs that data.
It's pretty showing time either way.
Yeah, so it grabs that data and it puts it in these nice little graphs right here that we have. So we have a question. See, you want to answer this question. It says from Skyler, is that due to the current interest rates, the drop in median showing? What do you think?
The drop.
Do you think it's
in median showings? No, because the interest rates skyrocketed, I feel like, this past couple of months.
Well, that's what he's asking, is the number of showings, the median showings, gone down because of the higher interest rate?
I don't
No,
think so. No.
I I don't know. I don't know.
I
I think it's the holidays more than anything else. Like the holidays are kicking
Yeah,
in, and people are
and it's
slowing
also
down.
a balance. I feel like it's also a balance. I don't know. I mean, honestly, like I feel like to me the interest rate doesn't even matter at this point because there's so many lenders that offer like so many programs and there's so many banks that offer so many programs as well. So it's like the interest rates don't even matter at this point. It's just having to do the research and having to find the right lender, the right bank in order, to go forward with the mortgage.
Yeah, because you can
Um,
always get similar concessions to bring down that to buy down that
yeah.
interest rate, right? So I think Diana, if I'm not mistaken, she brought it up, and we're actually going to do a podcast later on
Mhm.
down the road, about seller concessions and how they can help buy down those interest
Oh
rates.
yeah.
We'll talk about
Yeah,
that
that too for
in another
sure.
episode. So stay tuned, Skyler. Stay tuned. We got a full blown episode for that. So yeah, I like this technology because I like to show that, and I'm glad he brought the interest rates up. I don't think the interest rates are the reason for homes not selling, right now. I think
Mm-mm.
I think
The it's the
the holidays is
prices.
one, and it's the prices. So here's another thing to think
Yeah.
about, Skylar and anybody else. We got a comment here
Mhm.
from Rolly. Holidays slow things down, but it picks up in February because of income tax money comes in,
Yeah.
and their payments are and that's their down payment. So
Mhm.
yeah, I agree with Rolly. But to add more to this, I think it's the holidays. But here's what I'm afraid of, and again, we'll see what happens here in the future. I've
Yeah.
only been doing this for 3 years, almost 4 years in next October. I
Mhm.
say almost 4 years. If I got
Yeah.
mucho. Pero I'm a math teacher, and so in history and in supply
Mhm.
and demand, all that good stuff, what I think is gonna happen is that if interest rates drop down, you're gonna have a higher
Mhm.
buyers wanting to come in, and that's gonna jack up the prices. Um,
Yeah. Again.
so yeah, so
Again.
I bought my house in 2017 for
Uh-huh.
140,000, and today I wouldn't be able to sell it for less than 260. And
Mhm.
yay for me as a seller, but you know, inflation,
You don't
right?
have
Inflation.
Yeah, and it's like you don't have to get rid of your house either. So it's not like, I don't
No,
know. And then a lot of sellers are holding on to their interest rate también. Like, remember everybody during pandemic times, they all had like low threes.
and I think that that's what's going to cause a high demand because all these sellers that in the years of 2021, 2022, and
Mhm.
maybe 2020, those 2 3 years, they had those low interest rates, and
Mhm.
they're holding on to them, and the lack of inventory is going to exist
Oh yeah.
because okay, we got lower interest rates, we got a
Mhm.
low inventory, and therefore we're gonna have all these prices get jacked up, supply and demand.
Yeah. Well,
So
so I
I
think me and Jonathan were actually talking about this the other day. We were saying, how like fourplexes got really popular. Well, they've been popular for a very, very long time, probably like 2 years already. And we were saying that we're probably going to see in the next 8 to 10 years of foreclosure in fourplexes because it's like you bought it at a high price. If you notice that the rent down here, it's like what, like 1,000 for like a 3 bedroom, 2 bath apartment. Well, I mean, depending on the area, because what,
some higher rent. I think it depending
on the
on
area and then
itself.
also the
Yeah.
year, yeah. But I mean, if you look at it, like the numbers don't even make sense anymore. So it's like, how are you going to be holding on to that for that long and then still paying the mortgage for it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, the one that speaking of fourplexes, the one that I'm glad they brought out because there are people still wanting to invest into fourplexes.
Yeah.
That 5% conventional down, 5% down payment for
Yeah.
conventional. I think that's really good because it doesn't have to pass that self sufficiency test. So
Mhm.
if anybody has any questions about that, go ahead and reach out to that. I recently excuse me, I was helping out a client. We were talking about that in regards to the FHA and wanting to purchase it. This is prior to, I think it was November 18th that they released that. We were
Mhm.
talking about buying a fourplex and using the FHA at 3.5% down payment. But I was
Yeah.
telling you, it's not gonna. And I'm not a loan officer, right? So, but I'm pretty good with numbers and I'm pretty good with Excel
Yeah.
sheets. And I did an analysis on it for him, and I was like, dude, it looks like you're gonna be in the red. Like it's not gonna pass that self-sufficient
Yeah.
test, and
Yeah.
no te
And that's
conviene.
what sucks about like the fourplex boom right now.
Yeah, but that's
Everybody
why,
wants a fourplex. Huh?
my client, and now he's considering it again because of that 5% down payment conventional loan. I want to go
Yeah.
back real quickly, Nydia, to this slide
Mhm.
right here. So right now I showed the listings showings per listings, and now I show the month supply. So I mean, anybody that I guess is a real estate agent can tell you this, and you correct me if I'm wrong, Nydia, but month supply is the, I guess, a good indicator for whether you're in a seller's market or in a buyer's market. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
And I would say that if you're between a 0 and 4 months of inventory, you're more of a seller's market. If you're between 4 and 6, stable market, and if you're between a 5 and up, you're more of a buyer's market, more buyer negotiation.
Hmm.
So right here, we're looking at the last 3 years, but more so in the year of 2023. We can see from 2022, we were at a seller's market. 2 months of inventory, 2 months of inventory, 3 months of inventory, and then we
Yeah.
get to the year of 2023. It looks like we're going to take a quick dip down to a seller's market, and all of a sudden we just start to come up. And so we're at that 4.4, 3.7, 4.4, 4.2.
It's because of the holidays. Look
Big
look at look at the holidays for 2022. Can you
The
put that one
holidays
up?
for 20, they're right here. So we're
Okay.
looking at
Yeah, you see, like first of all, we're out of the pandemic already, and then
mhm,
well, like even well, so when I first started real estate, I remember I think the rates were like at a 5 or 6. And then also yeah, you see, that was our norm. Like we
yeah,
were fine. It was steady. So that's why when people ask me, they're like, how's the market? Da, da, da. And I was like, well, it's steady, like it's good. Well, it's
yeah,
healthy for like, for some agents and other agents that weren't around during that time, they're like, oh no, like, this stuff. But anyways, I
no,
think
and
it's
actually,
all
I put
but
a
I think it's all like a personal perspective,
yeah,
just depending on what you've been through in the industry.
yeah. So I think somebody put into perspective to me the other day. He goes, "Bro,
Yeah.
we're gonna be the 2008 agents, but in the 2023 era." So like,
Yeah.
how those 2008 agents be like, "Oh, we went through the 2008 era." Da. We're
Yeah.
gonna be those agents that say, "Hey, we went to the COVID era, the 2021 to
Yeah.
2022 era." So,
Dude,
um,
I went to Jonathan for advice. I told him, I was like, hey, I know you're an agent through that 2008. Like, how was it? And he's like, he just gave me the advice that I needed to hear. So I was like, okay, I'm
yeah,
okay, right? He's like, you're
and I'm glad you said that too, because
fine.
I go to him to advice too. But I'm a big believer that everything happens for a reason, right? And so
Oh, yeah.
for the last 2 years, 3 years, I kind of let
Hmm.
go of that idea. Everything happens for a reason. Like it's still in the back of my mind, but I had to let go of that
Hmm.
that idea. And I run into a buddy of mine, Mauricio Saldaña. He's a shout out to him. He's from UR Home and Fox Real Estate or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
But he knows I'm a football player or from a former football player. One
Uh-huh.
of the things that like I said, everything happens for a reason. I had just watched a movie, and that kind of reminded me of that. And I was like, man, I've been preaching that since I saw that movie.
Yeah.
And because it reminded me of a book that I've read twice called The Alchemist. I don't know if you've ever read it.
Oh, no, I
The
don't think I
Alchemist.
have.
It's a good book, and if you haven't read it, te lo recomiendo. I don't like reading, but it's a good book. I think it'll
Yeah.
keep you entertained. It's a good little story.
Uh-huh.
But it's basically it's if you chase something, if you want something bad enough in the universe, you're gonna end up getting it, right? So the universe
Oh, yeah.
the universe
Yep.
conspires to,
I'm a big believer in that too.
yeah. So because of that book back in
Mhm.
2017, 18, 19, I read
Mhm.
that book, and I believed in that, right? But
Yeah.
for the last 2 or 3 years, I kind of let go of that idea. And then like I said, everything happens for a reason. So the movie, The Secret, comes out on Netflix. I don't know if you've seen that book
Mhm.
or read that book or
Or
seen the movie
no,
or something.
no,
Uh,
probably not.
I read the book back in
I'll watch it
2000.
when I get home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw it. Well, I read the book back in 2016 or 17. I read it like
Uh,
in 30 minutes or 40 minutes. It was that good of a book.
yeah.
But I don't like reading. I can't sit down to read. I've been reading a book for
Do audiobooks.
huh?
Do you do audiobooks?
No, I just can't sit down. So I have a
Well, don't
book.
sit down. Like whenever you're on the road going to showing, just put up the audiobook and listen to it. No, your
Well, I mean,
attention's.
I'm sorry, I lost you when you said go on the road, and no, I'm just kidding. So I picked up a book called I can't remember the title of it. It's over there in the living room, but I picked up two books, something about leadership, and then I picked up this other book. I mean, I haven't even started this book, but the reason I'm bringing them up is because like I want to read them, but I haven't gone around to read it because I'm not a reader. I'm more of a I'm a math guy, right? So
Visual.
no, I'm a math guy. I can't. I'm not a. I can't sit down to read. You know.
Dude, you see, and me with numbers, I'm like, it's
Yeah.
going over my head. My sister Chio, she actually graduated. She got her master's in mechanical engineering. My sister's super good with numbers, and we're like the complete opposite.
You and your sister. We got a
Yeah,
comment here. I'm gonna read it real quickly. It says, "I'm pretty sure many homeowners who bought during the pandemic once
probably
once
shouldn't
they
have.
got their escrow analysis were probably short on their escrow, which will increase their payment 400 to 500 this year. Not many will be able to afford to do. You think foreclosures will increase in 2024? Oh, what is your take on that, Nydia?
I don't think so. I mean, we haven't even experienced it recently because last year they did increase as well. So it's like I mean, we've had a couple foreclosures, but not too many.
I think this is
The
gonna
this
happen in the fourplexes.
Yeah.
I think in the fourplexes we're gonna see this happen.
That's why we were saying, I was like, that's why me and Jonathan were talking. Like that's what we were talking about. Like the foreclosure for fourplexes is gonna happen, in probably I would say 5 to 8 years maybe, but
Yeah,
who
I
knows?
think that's gonna be a big issue in the fourplexes. But he does bring up
Mhm.
a really good point with those taxes. The taxes have just gone up higher and higher every year. Like my taxes, I bought the house at 140. Today, my house is appraised, quote unquote, at
Yeah.
225,000. That's because I went to go protest them because I'm like, dude, I didn't even buy my house at $255,000.
So
Go ahead.
was like with your mortgage payment, like you know how they pay the escrow at the end of the year, like were you paying more or were you like
So
did it
I've been fortunate enough that what I've done is I just pay that missing escrow, and this might
yeah.
be somebody somebody might benefit somebody. Um,
Hmm.
the escrow was short, $1,000 or 1,500. I was fortunate enough to be able to afford that and make that payment. That way, my monthly head payment hasn't gone up. So I did that.
Yeah.
We do have
Yeah.
another comment on here. It says, "What do y'all think about the current Airbnb short-term rental market area? Is it a good time to own a rental property? Which areas are the most lucrative in your opinion?"
Mm.
That's a very good question.
I mean, SPI, obviously, that's where the short-term market rental area is at down
My
here.
wife tells me close to the university.
That too,
My wife
because
tells me,
professors to come in and out
yeah.
and be
So
students.
she tells me that the university is kind of like that area that for
I was
rentals.
going to talk to you about this too. The football thing coming in, that's going to help a lot. So,
Players need a place to stay, right? So
yeah,
I don't know that they're gonna
yeah, for
house them
sure.
in the dormitories. I don't know what that's gonna look like.
Like,
We got a
what's the
couple of other
plan for
comments.
it?
Media. Wow,
Have
people
you?
are engaging. People are engaging. Omar Arga, that happened to me. I bought in 2021 at 2.7 interest rate. Total payment was 2,400. Once the analysis came through, my payment went to 3,500. Yeah, and that happens. But like I said, like
Yeah.
what I did for me in my escrow analysis is I just
Mhm.
paid that up front because I was able to afford it at the time. But that definitely does happen. Let me see. We got some other people right here. Oh, it's just Omar and it's Omar and Skylar going back and forth, baby. But not many lenders calculate. Okay, calculate correctly the escrow amount the buyer should be
Let's
putting
put
into
that
their
short at the
escrow.
end of the year.
This is really good engagement, guys. Really appreciate you guys coming in.
Um, well, like what I always do with my mortgage, I overpay. I
Yeah,
just overpay in order to have that amount at the end of the year. Yeah. And I
I
never underpay, even though my freaking like mortgage payments like super low. I still overpay. I'm like, no, dude, like I don't
yeah.
want to worry about it. And then also being a single mom, like I have to, budget and be on top of everything.
Yeah, I overpay. I pay an extra about $130 a month, and I've been
Yeah.
doing this about the house. And then, like I said, every year when
Mhm.
they give me that escrow analysis, if I'm able to afford, I'd rather pay that. I guess what's missing, I'd rather pay that
Mm.
off. And actually, it's gonna happen to me here because I just switched insurance companies because it's been a little bit crazy. Insurance has
Yeah.
gone up so much, dude. Like I'm like, God, torce.
How do you
Este,
say it? The rent is too damn high? Or is that from the guy from Louisiana, the
which
mayor? I don't know. We'll look it up later. I was
one?
like, I don't know. We'll look it up later.
All right, Nydia. As
Yeah.
a exit to our podcast today, do you have anything else you want to
Mm.
maybe add or share, or any more feedback you want to provide?
Um. mm, mm, mm. No, I think we're good. I mean, if anybody else has questions, now would be the time.
Yeah. So,
Insurance
if
is
anybody else has any questions, I know we have a couple people going back and forth there on the comments. If anybody wants to
Mhm.
chime in, have any questions, we have some. You got Nydia, you got me. I know we got some other people watching that might be able to answer some of the questions. So I know our broker is probably watching, or Anita's also watching as well. So,
Yeah.
uh,
They're
she's probably
supervising us.
supervising. Make sure we don't say anything stupid
Yeah.
or something like that, right? Hey, cause
That's
controversy,
what
baby.
I, that's what I was afraid of. They know me too well that I was gonna drop an F bomb somewhere, and I'm like, no.
F bombs are totally okay. Me and John dropped a couple of them the other day, so we're
Yeah.
okay. So insurance is such a scam, baby. You know what?
Yeah.
What do you feel about? How do you feel
Dude,
about insurance?
health insurance is a scam, by the way. But home insurance, honestly, I just started paying mine last year, so I don't know. I can't tell you anything about it.
I
Uh,
honestly I saved I saved 15% of my.
we're good.
So I saved a lot of money when we got hit with the storm here. So I mean I don't know.
Oh
We do
yeah.
have one last
Wait,
question.
you still? Yeah,
I don't know what this is. It says one last question. Does Nydia have anything against parakeets?
I do.
Why?
I don't like them. They make too much noise.
Which ones are the parakeets? Are those
The
little yellow
parakeets are
birds?
the little ones.
Little
The little ones that
little yellow
are
birds?
like, yeah, the little
Yellow and
ones that
blue?
are blue and yellow and all that stuff. Yeah, they make a lot of noise.
They do, but if you
I
put a
mean,
blanket over them, they'll shut up.
hmm?
If you put a blanket over them, they'll shut up.
Trying to kill them?
No, you
I'm
just put
just
a blanket over
kidding.
them
Yeah.
under the cage. Case aquí, we got another one. I struggled such a long time. I got my money
I was
sent
gonna make sense as a storm. But it was a storm.
April 29th. We got hit, but I mean, we got hit pretty bad with that.
Oh, man.
You didn't get hit by a storm?
When was yours? I mean, when was yours? Where do you live? Like what
I live
city?
here in Mission, real close to the expressway. We got hit pretty bad. Like
Oh yeah.
I had a
Yeah,
client.
dude, that's a thing. That's a thing about the expressway and being like I know the Donna, like Westlaco areas, like in Harlingen, all those areas tend to flood along the expressway though. So like if you're a little bit north, well south, I'm not too sure. But if you're north of the expressway, you don't really have any issues, I feel like.
We got hit. So I had a client. I can't remember her name. I can't remember her name. I won't say her name.
Hmm.
She's from Missouri, if I'm not mistaken, and she asked me to sell her parking model and whatnot. They're in the golf area by
Yeah.
Palm View. And
Yeah.
the names is sitting in my mind right now as far as the golf park there. Ranch
Yeah.
Valley, Hidden Valley, Hidden Valley Ranch.
Hidden Valley Ranch. What is that the one you
So,
eat?
no. Those are my kids. They like ranch.
Oh,
But that's the name of the Hidden Valley is the 55 and older community there. But they came down and my wife and we actually gave them a
yeah.
little tour of the area of Benitez and all that stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And so we were talking to them about the storm we got hit. We thought it was a tornado and all that good stuff, and they're like, no.
Yeah.
That wasn't a tornado. It was a straight line wind, and we were like, "What is that?" So they explained what a straight line wind, but it was just basically, from what I understood, it was a straight line, like a wind that comes. But it was crazy because we got hit pretty bad, and I mean, if you go down the expressway, there were some signs, the big billboard signs that were toppled over. It was a crazy storm, so we got hit pretty good. But I saved, the quote that they had given me was like 15K, 16K, and I only had to pay about. I didn't have to pay anything out of pocket. They use it for my.
They
They took
they
care of it. Yeah.
they took care of it. That's good.
Yeah.
I think I remember now because I think I had one listing that was dealing with hail damage at that time, and I think they had the insurance cover it. Man, I really hope that listing comes through, dude. Well, not comes through, but like gets to the finish line because.
Que se venda.
Yeah.
We got a couple more things right here, Nydia, and then we'll go ahead and it off. It says right here, Rolly commented, "You guys know the market well. Are you new builds? Are you new builds still a hot market due to an inventory shortage, or is the market dictating everyone to purchase an older home?" Ooh.
I feel like that's a personal experience type thing because the new builds. When was the last time that I sold a new build? I haven't sold a new build in a while.
I'm under
They're
contract.
usually.
I actually sold a new build here in August, September. So
Yeah.
what I can tell you, and again, this is another podcast that's going to come up in the near future. I'm actually going to bring Diana on a podcast, and we're going to talk about, seller concessions and why she was doing it, and how it's a strategy to be able to sell when you are competing with the new constructions around you. So we'll talk about that at a later time. But
I would say what type of strategy, but I feel like I haven't had a lot of I haven't sold a lot of new builds recently. All of them have been older homes. Yeah, and not older. Like some of them were ones that were bought during the pandemic and just sold. Yes, it does, Diego.
Diego, yes.
I
I have a cousin. Maybe they're watching, maybe they're not watching, but they're in the Houston area, and we were just having a conversation. We weren't actually talking about selling our house or anything like that. But even it trends differently within the state itself.
Yeah.
Even within the city, and definitely outside of the state. I'm in multiple Facebook groups here and there, and you'll hear everybody talking about, people are still getting multiple offers on particular listings in particular cities and states. And here right now, that's not necessarily the case of the situation. What I've come to realize right now, we are more of a stable to a buyer's market. So like I said earlier, our showings per listings are not up high. They're more on the lower side. So we're not getting all these offers all at once. But that's just here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I keep hearing that the market is super crazy in that area, and I don't know if you've heard that.
No, I haven't. I think I actually haven't even heard of different states, but right now I feel like in Texas, like over here in the Valley, our average house is average median home for sale. It's like around 250. Those are the ones that are getting the multiple offers.
I would say that's the top market.
So the guy that just asked the question, that was my friend Diego. He's actually from California, and I'm assuming that the trend out there is way different. It's always been so expensive in California. I had lived out there for a couple of years, and we were renting, I think, a studio apartment for $1,600 a month, and it wasn't even close to anything. Wow. And then we had to move to a house, and we had shared that house with another like 2 more people. So it was 4 people in one house. It was I think it was like a 3-bedroom, 1 bath for I think we were renting it for $4,000.
What?
Yeah, it was little, but it was close to the beach though. Like you could bike to the beach like 20 minutes.
Then that's enough said. The beach.
Yeah.
We rented a $4,000 3-bedroom, 1 bath just for the beach. Comments here. We'll go ahead and close this out. Skylar said, "Awesome segment, guys. Thank you so much, Skylar.
Thank you.
We're just trying to put content out there for you guys. So if it's today or tomorrow that you guys go ahead and subscribe and like and all that good stuff. My goal is to give information out. It's and then keep it try to keep it engaging too. It's not always easy to
Yeah.
keep it engaging. We do have another question from a Ramon Torres. Is how far does a gravel company have to be from a home? My grandmother is having issues with her
Oh,
health and needs to sell her ranch in San Manuel. Give us a call. Give us a call, Ramon, and we can see what we can figure out there. We have to do probably. I don't know how you feel about.
yeah, because I mean, it has to be a mixed use. I mean, it can't. I don't know if it has to. You can't even do a mixed use, but if it's on county area, I'm not too sure. Yeah, if it's in county area, he could probably do the mixed use, like commercial and residential. Is that what
Yeah.
he's asking? Right? Your gravel
Well, I
company
just
from
feel
a
like he's
home.
asking how far does the gravel company have to be from the home. Uh, see,
Clarify, please. Yeah.
see if we can maybe give us a call. We can talk about it tomorrow, and we can take it from there. You got her number
Mhm.
here, and I'll post my number here in a little bit as well.
Yeah.
But give us a call. We can figure it out.
Mhm.
Neither, let me know if you end up working this one. We're sharing
Referral,
this one
please.
together. I'm just kidding.
I
So
got you.
then, the Harris Market, the Harris County
Oh
Market,
yeah.
for sure. That is a true story.
Oh.
Austin, Texas is up and booming.
Mhm.
If you've been to Austin anytime recently, I know that we went to the games, and it's from when I graduated in Austin. It's grown. They're actually taking down. I was with my wife. They're taking down my apartment complex where I live. There, it's no
Really?
longer there. I mean, the last time we drove by it, it was demolished. Um, we
That's
got
crazy.
Rolly. Great job. Happy holidays. And you know what? Thank you so much, Rolly. Really appreciate you
Thank
tuning
you,
in.
Oli.
And we got Greg Villarreal. Great infos. Greg, what's up?
Dude, I think Greg is right
Is
next door.
he, is he drinking with those techies?
Are you drinking those seckies? Wait.
Let me see what he's
Greg,
saying.
is he in there? No, I don't know. I can't hear. I was like, I can't hear.
See, I think he
Yeah.
means like on the same property, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's what he meant. Oh, look, he's right here. Say, oh, we're gonna have a feature guest.
¿Qué onda, Greg? What is he drinking?
Oh,
Ahí está la Dos
it's
X.
tequila.
¿Qué
Hold
dice?
on, let me get him out of my headphones. Hold on.
What's up, guys?
What's up, Greg?
Working here.
Is it Dos Equis or tequila? Oh, okay. They were giving me tequila, that's why.
They gave him tequila.
Guys, that's a great job. Keep it up.
Thank you, Greg. Appreciate you, man.
Has he had you on the podcast already?
Not yet. Not yet.
No,
Not
like
yet.
interview.
We will though. We're gonna definitely get him on here, but he's better be drinking a Dos Equis.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna come back to Omar Govell real quickly. He's talking about his story. I don't know. I don't know if we should share this story. This is a story. This is it hits a little bit closer to home.
What that means.
You're in a little bit of
I
an
don't
echo.
know what that means.
Empty. Nydia? There you go.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
That's better. Yeah, there was a little bit of an echo there. Well, guys, ladies and gentlemen, followers, subscribers, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you guys have any questions, feel free to post questions. And I'll just say this: the story with Omar is that we do have demanding clients, and we do our best to be able to service them. And there's sometimes that maybe they don't like our service, or we're not able to fully service them. And sometimes you go above and beyond, but they end up not using you as your realtor. So that's what happens. And
I was about to say, this is a thing. If you're like barely starting in the industry, you have to not take anything personally. This business is a lot more not emotionally driven, but it's more logic in not the client side, but like with lenders, title people, and other realtors. You have to realize that whatever they do has nothing to do with don't take anything personal, and that's it.
It's business.
Yeah, it's business.
It's business, and you know what? And this particular person, I still say what's up. I still will say hi.
Yeah.
There's No hard
You can't
feelings.
burn your bridges. Yeah.
No, yeah, exactly. ¿Qué dice aquí mi camarada? Dice cutthroat, baby. No. No, you know,
Yeah.
I'm very amicable with people. I think for
Yeah.
me, I try to be amicable, and I try to be, it's what's best for the client. If what's best for the client is, not me, by all means.
Yeah.
So that's what that was about. But I got my Chihuahua
There
barking.
goes Penny. Is it Penny?
Anyways, if anybody has any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to reach out. You got her number, and I haven't put my number out there just yet, but my number is 956-862-1556. We've just kind of been tickering your phone number throughout the entire podcast, but there's my phone number there. And yeah, feel free to reach out, guys. All right, Nydia, thank you so much for being on here, and we'll talk soon. My dog is going crazy. Hang back real quickly.
Uh-huh.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in.
Bye.
Bye.